Hey, Pretty Girl Club, welcome back to the Storytime series. If you have a story you would like to tell about your experience as an exotical being pedestalized, fetishized, dealing with jealousy, pretty girl problems, colorism, texturism, or featureism, please email me at exoticalsunited@gmail.com. I am bulk recording these story times right now, and I'm trying to catch up on them, especially as this channel grows, because it's very important for our stories to be heard. But this girl says, "Hey girlfriend, here's my story time. I appreciate the work you're doing. You're like the Church of Exotical Pastor." For reference, I am light-skinned. My Fenty shade is 300 in the winter and 330 in summer. Multiracial with Indigenous American, Algerian, Ghanaian, French Creole, Sierra Leonean, and Belgian heritage. My hair is very thick, types 3 and 4, and naturally dirty blonde. Aw shit, she's a dirty blonde. Oh no, we already know that's going to be a problem. But she says, "I've always dealt with people asking me if I'm Blasian. And whenever I wear my natural hair out or wear blonde extensions, I get asked if I'm Latina. The celebrities I always get compared to are Cassie, Chanel Iman, and Lisa Ray in the 90s. I grew up half the time in a monocultural white area and the other half in a monocultural African American area. It was definitely very rough and complicated navigating friendships with unambiguous black women and unambiguous white women. Those two groups seemed to always have issues with me. People always threw me in and out of blackness because of my looks, interest, and speaking voice. I've always been very fascinated by culture and language and love using this to connect with people everywhere I go. Whenever I would get attention from men, unambiguous dark-skinned black women would try and say I sound like a white girl or that I'm into white people shit. I thought it was weird because while I don't code switch, I do have a stereotypical white voice, but I sometimes speak in Ebonics naturally. And for those of you who don't know, Ebonics is kind of like African American slang, or some people call it like a black accent. She says, "I've always been very feminine and a mix of investing into my career and being domestic. I love cooking mainly because it's a way I connect with not only my admixtures but also other cultures. I've always been hired for jobs where I face people and have often had coworkers in tip jobs say that they get the best tips when they work with me, with people even fighting over shifts to work with me. When people meet me, both black and white, they guess that I'm from the South and say that I have Southern hospitality. Some people even guess that I'm from Texas. I've even experienced men trying to pedestalize me over unambiguous black women, saying that I'm not rough like women from New York. I've defended other women and then been surprised when they wouldn't defend me later on, so I burned my cape. I love doing makeup daily, always playing up my eye shape and wearing bold red lips or the trendy Latina makeup. I am slim thick with an hourglass shape and thick thighs, and I like to dress up as often as possible. My style is kind of a mix of coquette, office siren, and mob wife. I usually lean more into sexy because I think of Blasian and Latina women as being super sexy, and those types of looks suit my features, personality, and body type. I've been happy to join the exotical community because many women have tried to humble me and the male gaze has always gotten me in trouble. I never show cleavage or wear crop tops, but my clothes are always fitted and flattering to my shape. I wear sexy smelling perfumes and have decentered men, which seems to make them even more attracted to me. For a while, I joined a mom's group, and I was the only young single one in the group. The other women were all unambiguous white women who live more of the stay-at-home mom churchy lifestyle. I noticed they would try, and many other women I've met, to stereotype me as pretty and stupid because I guess they couldn't handle me being both pretty and smart. They would get so irritated if I started nerding out about something that interested me if the topic came up. It's like they felt like I didn't deserve a voice. None of them wore makeup, changed their hair, or invested time into their appearance. I always felt bad for them because their men were not subtle at all about admiring my appearance. I even tried to tone it down, but it didn't really change anything because they still found me intriguing. One woman in particular tried to hang out with me all the time, and I would because she didn't have a lot of help with her kids, and my bougie child has grown up some and we live a pretty soft life together. She would always be trying to set me up with someone, almost like she was trying to poke fun at me being single, when I really like my life currently. Yeah, have you ever noticed that people, they try to make fun of exotical single mothers? Meanwhile, a lot of these quote unquote single mothers are literally living softer lives than the women who are married in these 50-50 relationships. But she says she would be suggesting different guys to set me up with, and it would always be a guy who was a dusty white guy or a toothless. Just weirdo stuff. The ironic part about it is that she literally was toothless in the front of her mouth. She would only do this around her husband because I'm not really a fan of having other moms come to my apartment, so we typically hung out at her house. She would make a suggestion and be laughing, and he would be like, "Isn't that guy an alcoholic or old as hell?" I'm pretty sure that's not her type. There was even this time where I was describing my ideal relationship dynamic, where I am the black cat and the guy is the doting golden retriever. She was like, "You're pretty much describing my husband. You need to find you a John." She was trying to put me beneath her and basically say she already had something that I wanted, but she wasn't even close. Her husband was very red pill and obsessed with watching the whatever podcast and discussing OF girls. Besides him paying the bills, she was basically a single mom. He never helped with the kids or spoiled her, even with time. She didn't even have her own car, so she would just be stranded whenever he was gone, which was often. She had to ask for permission to spend any money, and he would often try to humiliate her in front of others. One time we were out day drinking, and her husband was trying to take a picture of someone else, and she had moved out of the way. He snapped a blurry picture of her and told her she looked like Bigfoot or some other scary monster. I can't really remember. She was tall, refrigerator-shaped, and unkempt, but he was just unnecessarily mean to his own wife. He even posted the picture with the same caption. Then on another occasion, we were out at the bar, and she used this baby voice like, "John, can you please go get me a cup of water?" And he yelled, "No, you have 2 feet. Go get it yourself." I was shocked and realized I definitely do not want some guy like that. When I was friends with this unambiguous black woman, she would be obsessed with learning the details of how an ex of mine had mistreated me. One time she even asked the specific app I had met this MLS man on, who I was casually dating at the time, and she made an account just to try and talk to him. He rejected her and told me, and I never spoke to her again. She was in a hypogamous relationship and cheating on her boyfriend, trying to divest. She pedestalized non-black men and got mad at me when I told her non-black families can be toxic too. All in all, I've been loving your content and have just been focusing on leveling up in all areas so I can make more leveled up friends in real life and instilling confidence into my exotical child. I have lost 15 pounds since the summer and have really been taking your tips to heart. I am not interested in dating just yet, but I am constantly attracting Hispanic, Middle Eastern, white, and MLS men. One day, I will see what's out there. Until then, I'll keep finding ways to collect my exotical tax. Keep up the amazing work. Yeah, that's very interesting, and I'm not surprised that basic Bettys who are in these horrible marriages are trying to humble you, because a lot of people think that if you're an exotical who's a single mother, that suddenly your life is just so hard and you're so downtrodden, very similar to how, kind of like Precious, you know that movie Precious, like Monique? I feel like some people, they lie to themselves and they try to convince themselves that pretty privileged women who are single mothers somehow just have it so bad. But then when you came and you basically broke that stereotype and you're still like doing your self-care routine and stuff, even as a mom, that's extremely triggering, especially to these women with these 50-50 relationships, these hypogamous relationships. But what do you ladies think? Have you ever had these married single mothers coming for you? Have you ever had people try to talk down on you for being single? Have you ever had people try to brag about their marriages, but they're actually in some sort of abusive type of dynamic? Have you ever had women competing with you in the dating market? Because like I said, in a lot of cases, exoticals are the standard, not just of beauty, but also the standard of dating. So I can see why these women were trying to like humble this woman, like, "Oh, you're a single mother." You know, basically you're not upholding the exotical standard. But what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.